In today's video, we're going to learn how to take off in the Su-25T, so let's get right in. The first thing I always do is I look around the stick to just check my trim, and you'll see those three lights down there. Those are the trim lights. They're all three lit up, which means we're trimmed correctly. The next thing I do is down here, if we look at our gear and flaps indicator, you can see we don't have any flaps down, so we need to go down at least down one notch of flaps. Sometimes I go all the way down into the landing flaps position if I'm super heavy. Some people have different opinions on which is best, but it will affect your takeoff speed. So I will do it in the landing position. So let's unpause. And we're just going to go to landing flaps. And there, the light's on. Now for our takeoff roll, we're going to hold the brakes, and then on our RPM gauge we're going to go up to about 75%, and then we're going to let go of the brakes and accelerate all the way up to 100% full throttle. We'll use the rudders to stay straight on the runway, and then when we get to about since we're empty today, it's going to be about 240 to 270 clicks per hour in the top left, and then we will start to rotate. We're going to hold the nose at 10 degrees up until we are airborne. It shouldn't take long today since we have no load on. And then after this I'll do it with a full load of weapons store so you can see what that looks like. So let's get started here, and I'll talk you through it once we're in the air. So hold the brakes, accelerate to 75% RPM, let go, and full throttle. Then we're going to use the rudder pedals to stay straight on the runway. And you just want to do small little adjustments on the rudder. And we're going to watch that speed come alive. When it gets to about 250, we're going to pull up to 10 degrees. So right now, stick back 2/3 of the way, pull up to 10, hold it. Once we're up to about 10, we're going to pull our gear up, and we're going to pull our first flap lever up. When we get to around 400 clicks per hour, we're going to go flaps up. Alright, so here's the heavy aircraft loadout. So you can see we're fully loaded with stores on both wings. This is about max weight for the aircraft. So very similar approach. The only thing that changes is it takes a lot longer to build up speed, and it's going to be at a higher speed that we lift off. So instead of 250, I'm going to wait for about 290 to 320 before I lift my nose up to 10 degrees. So we're going to pull flaps down to the landing position. There's the indicator. And then hold the brakes, accelerate to 75%, release, full throttle, and just use that rudder to stay in the center of the runway. We're looking for around 300 before we pull back on the nose at all. And it takes a while. You just let that stick go until we get to around 300. There's 300, so we'll pull back. There's 10. Get some altitude, and there's gear up. First notch of flaps up. We're just going to maintain. When we get close to 400, we're going to go flaps up. Alright, so here we are in the empty aircraft doing a landing. So what you're going to do is below 300, we can drop the gear in the first notch of flaps. And since this plane likes to float, so since we're empty, I'm going to just use one set of flaps. The goal is to touch down right past the threshold where all them black marks are, and we would like to touch down around 300 clicks. So we're a little fast, but that's okay. Need to pull back, we're losing altitude a little too much. But you just want that runway nice and straight. And just watch your speed. If you land at the correct speed, you'll be just fine. And then when you get close, we're gonna flare just a little bit. And then on touchdown, below 300, we can start pumping our brakes. Below 300, you can hit P on the keyboard to pull out the parachute. The parachute will slow you down real quick, so when you get down to 80, you can cut the parachute with P as well, and that'll let you roll out to the next taxiway. Here we are in the fully loaded landing. Very similar approach. We're just going to get the gear out around 400, and first notch of flaps, so let's get gear out. First notch of flaps is down. And then we're just gonna line up and get nice and straight with the runway. And same deal, you want to touch down just past the threshold, right at the black marks. You add a little throttle in, pitch up some. And when we just get ready to cross the threshold, I'll kill throttle here. Getting close, little fast, kill throttle and get ready to flare, little flare. That'll work. And below 300, we can pull the parachute. And below 100, I cut the parachute normally. And roll out to the taxiway. And that's how to take off and land an Su-25T. In the next video, we'll get into weapons.